All right, for everyone listening in, I just wanted to thank you. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these are insightful and help you in making a buying decision. First off, I'd like to welcome Seth to the seller interview segment. Appreciate him coming on and telling us a little bit more about him and the site he has for sale. So thanks, Seth.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
All right, man. So let's do a quick introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in like building, buying, and selling sites? Like, have you always built profitable sites? Is that kind of your goal, or do you do other stuff? Do you have a day job?
No day job. I've been on my own for 10 plus years. I ran a marketing services business since 2004, and I sold that. So that's the only selling I've ever done, really, of anything. I have routinely taken mediocre websites and made them profitable and made a living doing that. So that's my background. As to whether or not I've sold a website like this, I can't say I have. This is the first situation of this kind that I've been through.
Do you normally buy sites and look to turn them around, or do you build them from scratch and kind of build them up?
I've never really done either. I've just taken pre-existing websites of clients and just improved them that way. So buying and selling is a new thing altogether to me. Okay,
so you did sell a business at one point, but you're definitely not, the traditional flipper, someone looking at build up sites and sell them off.
Yeah. Correct. Not the traditional flipper at all.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your site. We're going to get into the details here in a bit, but right now it's currently monetized. This is the affiliate site, by the way. It covers software you'd use for your business, marketing, software, and automation. Tell me a little bit about the monetization. I know you use an affiliate program for 2 pieces of software specifically.
Yeah, and that's really all it is. It's a partner program, an affiliate program with each software company, and that's been all that is needed. Is that all that's possible? Absolutely not. I could have definitely added several layers of affiliate programs, but they're fantastic programs. One of them is one of my favorite programs that I've ever been involved in. So part of that is kind of hurts a little bit to sell that because they like me and I like them, and it's a good relationship, but great programs. Solid programs from solid companies.
I should say, before we even get any further, we're going to talk about niche selection in a bit, but I'm going to try really hard not to gush, but I used your site a little over a year ago. Our company was looking for software options, and I used your site as a resource to help us kind of determine which I thought would be better for our business. So it's an informational site, but it is, I'd say, at the higher end. The simplicity is pretty straightforward, though. It's not like there's a ton of content on the site either. It's just very well laid out. And I think I struggled in that a lot of the content that's out there is from people that are just affiliates and they don't actually use the software. So you'll log in, you'll see like empty information. There's nothing actually filled out, whereas, you obviously have a feel for both. And I think that's what made it, special, I think.
Yeah, a lot of times, especially in affiliate marketing, being involved with that world for a long time, people they're too exposed to reviews that are one-sided and biased. And people have a BS indicator detector that's a little more refined than most marketers realize. So in my marketing services, obviously I was involved with both soft intimately. I used them in my own business as well. I knew the strengths and the weaknesses, and I got asked all the time about the differences between the two. And it was so annoying to me that I said, all right, there's obviously a need here that's not being filled online anywhere. So I'm going to buckle down and write the best content on planet Earth for people that are trying to make that decision. At the time, I knew the market. This was a year ago. I knew the market pretty well. There's not a ton of people searching for a comparison between the two, but the people that are comparing the two are the best buyers. So that's another positioning thing that it was a hole that I saw, and it was a great, it turned out to be pretty awesome. It far exceeded my intention.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. I mean, because the site is relatively straightforward. I mean, it's deceivingly simple, I would put it.
Right.
What this brings up is for anyone listening that is a builder, I mean, there are probably ideas running through their head right now on different pieces of software, popular pieces of software, or even expensive pieces of software that they could do these comparisons for as well. So I think what's cool about it is I think the model actually works not just in this niche. It works in anything.
It's a brilliant model, and there's people that are ripping this off in all kinds of different niches. And I've had several well-known people take that very same model and apply it to health supplements, to just the weirdest niches that happen to be popular in the affiliate world.
This could be crazy. You could do this in like cat furniture, right?
It works awesome. It works awesome. And the reason it works awesome is because if you come across as an authoritative source of real information, not trying to pitch something or not trying to sway somebody's beliefs to buy one or the other, but giving them real information to make a decision as if you don't care what they choose.
Yeah, I think your approach, you mentioned there several times, look, I'll get paid if you buy either or whatever. I don't have a horse in the race, but here are the benefits, the advantages and disadvantages to both, which I think is helpful.
Exactly.
Why did you just stick to the two and not target other competitors? I know there are other competitors out there, and there are more, I think, starting up as they see the success of these other companies.
I've had 5 different competitors. The owners of the company approached me, and I have comped accounts to all these other softwares as well, because they want me to do similar reviews.
Oh, I bet.
But I told them that I'm going to do this review, and I'm going to be brutally honest. And that freaked out a few of them. But to be honest, it's a lot of work to set these up, and I'm lazy.
I see, because I'd say that this is kind of like, small to mid-sized business software. And I think my guess is too, at the higher end,
there's several enterprise level.
I'm sure there are a ton that are already out there. Maybe not as clear as yours, but they already have a ton. I mean, that's high dollar.
So the good thing about this situation is there's a lot still on the table that I haven't tapped into because this isn't my main business. This is kind of a really nice cash flow that I don't have to do hardly anything for. So I haven't milked it at all. I haven't really turned it into a viable business, and there are so many things that can be done with a website. And the content is authoritative. The bounce rate on the website over the life of the entire the existence of the website is like 11%.
Yeah, that's great.
You go find an affiliate website that has that bounce rate. You've never heard of one.
I was thinking about this just in the time we've been talking. I mean, just another example of something you do this with would be like, optimize press versus premise, or lead pages versus optimize.
Right.
I mean, like, and
Aweber versus get response.
Yes.
And here's the other thing. If you target a search term that has verses in it, guaranteed you're going to shoot right to the top of the search engines without doing any SEO.
Yeah, I noticed that you're ranked for the individual searches, not just this versus that.
But that didn't happen until Google liked my website because of the versus keywords. So what's interesting about this is that website, it got hold in Google because of the X versus Y search term. There's no competition. And so it shot to the top of the search engines after doing 0 SEO. To this day, I have not built one single link.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we've linked to it before, right? Because, like you're going to get real links when it's really useful.
It's got hundreds of links to it, but I haven't done anything. I did no SEO. The content is that good. It's evergreen content that's not going away. I have not done any SEO, which means there's no risk of it getting banned by Google. And it's a really white hat, clean website.
I get this question, Seth, from people sometimes, and it just goes to show that, we're in an interesting marketplace. But this is, some people are like, you should absolutely sell and cash out. And other people are like, why the hell would this guy be selling the site when it's doing well? So, like, what is your reason for selling right now?
There's a few reasons. One is that this is not going to be my main business. If the right person comes along, they could turn this into a 7-figure business. No question in my mind. There is enough demand with little enough supply in that marketplace to create a 7-figure business off of the traffic that website is currently getting. Because that website gets probably the best monetizable business marketing traffic that you can find. It's people that want to automate and systematize their business. Almost all of them are entrepreneurs. Almost all of them are solopreneurs. A lot of them are high-level managers. And it's fantastic traffic, and there's a huge opportunity for the right person to take that traffic and turn it into real long-term, solid business.
Seth, I have a friend that started a business maybe less than a year ago, and he's broken $20,000 a month in recurring revenue around this business in the same industry, same niche. And
he probably struggles to get traffic, and he's still doing that well.
Yes. He's a pretty good sales guy, so he's good at reaching out and finding his customers. But there are other people in the space, and you know this, that are six-figure a month offering, done-for-you services and stuff around this. So it's definitely a profitable niche. What are you doing with the cash when you sell? What are you going to do with your influx?
We're going to buy a house at the first of the year anyways. So it'd be nice to have a bigger down payment. So, it's good timing for that as well. So
I love these mini exits. You're not getting crazy money. You're not going to be able to, walk and retire.
Yeah, it's not retire money at all.
It's a nice influx. It's set yourself on a new life path kind of money or move yourself up to the next level kind of money. Yep. I think that's pretty exciting. That's one of the things I love about, aside from making money and doing our thing, I love that.
For sure. And on top of that, I'm going to put some cash into a new thing that I'm working on, so that's not a bad deal either.
What's the new thing you're working on, man? Can you share that? Are you in stealth mode? What's going on here?
I love to speak and to share a message that I believe is powerful in the personal development world, so focusing on that 100%. So an additional reason on top of that is I'm not necessarily burning my ships, but I'm shifting everything and focusing on one thing that I really care about.
Cool. I totally respect that. We're doing something similar now, dropping projects right and left ourselves to focus on our marketplace, focus on helping others buy and sell sites. Yep. I think that's powerful, right?
Totally is. And that's one big movement that happens. So
let's talk about when the site was built. February of 2013. So it's not actually that old. What was the trajectory of when it started off? Was it just a hit right away, or did it take some time to build up?
Again, I did no SEO. I did no traffic generation at all. So I created the content. I did one link on Twitter, one link on Facebook, and then let it sit. I got my first commission in March. I believe I was sent $3,000. I was like, oh, wow. I didn't expect that at all. I wrote the content more to solve a problem because I care about people than I did to even make money with it. And that's part of the reason why the content is so good, because it's entertaining, it's informative, it's very thorough, and it solves a problem. And people resonated with it very quickly. So about April, May, the traffic kicked up to be about 90 to 100, 110 visitors a day, and it's stayed there for 10, 11, 12 months straight.
What have you tried with this site that just didn't work? Was there anything you put on there in terms of monetization or content that was just kind of a loser?
It was April of this year, I got some footage from one of the software companies of an internal demo that a sales guy did that I thought was really good. And sometimes when some people go to a software company, they have to put in all their information, give away their children's social security numbers just to see the demo. And since that annoyed me so much, I thought people would appreciate the fact that I gave them a demo straight up without having to put in any information in.
Yeah.
But that bombed like you would not believe. That bombed. The click-throughs to the software companies went from whatever they were to about 10% of what they were. Because it was solving their curiosity too much. It gave away too much information. And as an affiliate, you can't forget that your core function is to get clicks. That's it.
Yeah.
You want people to click to the website. Otherwise, you're not going to get paid. And what I didn't realize is that actually gave them so much information that they didn't click anymore. And it bombed.
It's funny. It's funny when you have a winner and you do a piece to it and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. People are going to love this, right? And then it's just, no good.
Yeah, it was kind of weird timing because that site had a lot of momentum at that point. So I figured, well, how can I ride this? And then I did that, and then I lost a little bit of that momentum.
You're like, that's not good. I'm taking that down.
That's not good at all.
So we already talked about the fact that you didn't build any backlinks to the site. They came naturally. What piece of the site or what have you done to it that just was a winner that you're like, wow, this is where I need to go? Obviously, the this versus that comparison I think is fantastic. But what specifically on the site?
A lot of people have the question, will this work for my business? And they don't have a context for using this software for their industry. So one thing that worked awesome for me is I took all the case studies I could find and I linked to them using an affiliate link for about 20 different industries, from lawyers, attorneys, to retail, to service businesses, agencies, that type of thing. And that gets the most clicks out of anything on the website.
That's interesting. So showing them, like, I go there and I'm going to work for a law office or manage a law office, and I'm seeing, okay, there's a case study for another law office that uses this piece of software. I'm going to want to go through that because it relates to me, like more personal to me and my business.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about traffic a little bit. Now, if I'm correct, I think the majority of this traffic is organic. Is that right?
Right now, it's probably 90% organic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do have links, but you don't get much traffic from that. That's just from other people linking to it as a source. Now, the earnings type, is it mostly one-time affiliate payments? Is it recurring? How does that work?
One program is recurring. The other is one-time.
Okay. And I see that, over the last year, it's made a little over $10,000 in net profit per month on average for the last 12 months.
Right.
Has that been relatively stable? What's the trajectory there?
It's been pretty stable. The awesome thing about this is that you'd say, 100 visitors a month or a day isn't very much. But that site's earning $4 per click. $4 per visitor over the life of the entire website. That's insane.
Which, by the way, that is absolutely insane. We had someone ask about that. A potential buyer was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's so far outside of the norm.
It's not even close to the norm.
That's outside of your norm, too, right? I mean, you're not building sites of $4 earnings per visitor.
No. And I've never even... I told one of my good friends, Keith Baxter, I don't know if anybody knows him, but I told him what the site was making, and he just about cracked a brick because he's never heard of an affiliate website pulling that much cash out of that few visitors.
It is ridiculous. But I think some of that comes from that recurring, right? How much of the revenue or earnings are recurring and how much is one time at this point?
About, I'd say 15% is the recurring. The rest is the one time. So it's most of the one time.
Okay. And do you have a special deal as an affiliate, and will that be transferable to the new buyer?
There's no special deal.
Okay.
It's just is what it is, and everybody gets the same situation there.
Cool. Okay.
If it was possible to get a special deal, I would have gotten one.
Yeah. And we talked about this before the show or via email or whatever. We're talking about, the rock star status for one of the companies, and they're big fans of what you've done. Let's talk a bit about the opportunities here. We have different risk profiles for buyers. Some come in and they want something very stable. They want slow growth. They don't want to risk much. So they don't want to, change things around too much. If I was that person and I was going to be buying this site, I wanted like a really non-risky path to growth. What would you advise me in terms of what to focus on? Added content or slight changes? What would you tell me?
The non-risky route would be to create new content that profiles other software companies. You got to keep in mind that the software companies that I've profiled are actually not even the biggest one. There are some behemoths out there there's way more traffic available. I just barely put together a review for one of the bigger softwares, and that's already on page 1.
Cool.
But there's a lot more to do there. The other thing that can be done is the social media traffic is very, very safe. I haven't done a lot with that at all. There's a few pages on there that don't even have like buttons on it. So there's a social element here that really hasn't been tapped. If you coupled that with simple retargeting, you can't use perfect audience because it's an affiliate site, but you could use something like AdRoll or use Facebook's own or Google's retargeting platform.
I love the idea. That's an interesting point. You can't use perfect audience. We used perfect audience for Empire Flippers and had some success there, but there are other ways to retarget. I like what you're saying with the social because you can target some of the other major companies that are out there, target their people that like their page, and then use that to drive traffic to the site and look at those comparisons. I think that's an interesting approach to an opportunity there. What would you do now? Let's say that I'm a higher risk profiler. I'm more open to risk because I want huge fat rewards. What would you tell me if I wanted to really take a stab at this and get it to mid 5 figures a month over the next 12 to 18 months? What would my path look like?
If you did not layer on different monetization strategies like consulting. Like I turn down probably 2 to 5 high-level consulting gigs every month, just because I don't do consulting anymore. If you didn't want to do something like that, that's really low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
You could sell a lead like that for several $100s to the right person, or you could do the consulting yourself. But if you really wanted to scale things, I would be a little more upfront and actually try and get the clicks on purpose. This is something I haven't tried, but it would probably work. If you were to take the same amount of traffic, increase the amount of clicks, you'd make more money.
What do you mean by that? How would I get more clicks? What do you...
Because right now, I don't tell anyone to click anywhere. There is no real call to action on the website, except on one page of the website where I break down my personal custom recommendations, depending on which brings into account their personality, the type of industry they're in, and that type of thing. I tell them which software is best for them. That's the only place where I even say click here on the website. If you were a little more strategic about that and coupled that in addition to capturing leads more effectively, you could easily increase the revenue.
So, I mean, I looked at this site and, over a year ago when I first found it, I was thinking up ways, and I was actually thinking of, before I talked to you at all, thinking about, wow, I could recreate the site. I could actually do something like this because it's really interesting to me. And
it's not hard to rip off, and trust me, people have tried to do that, and it's not been as successful.
I bet. But I think that
one thing that I'm not doing that I should do is capturing leads and email addresses.
Yeah.
Giving away something for free, doing that traditional follow-up, which is really ironic because the software that I review is really marketing stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not even really using it on that website.
That's funny.
The website is literally just content with links.
Yeah. You got to eat your own dog food, man. You got to get some email subscribers there.
So if I buckle down, again, it's going back to this is not my thoroughbred in the race.
Yeah.
It's not my main business, so I haven't spent the love and time and energy to do that. But again, if the right person did, it would be.
So someone offers consulting service around this, or they offer products and services around this. I see a quick path to significantly improving the revenue. But it's not just that, though. I think you can sell it to those service providers or set up agreements with those service providers that I think, even if you're not in that space, because you'd have to know it, right, to be able to do that, but not to set up those agreements. You wouldn't have to be a pro to set those agreements. And I think that's a pretty quick way for someone who doesn't work with us day in, day out to make some extra money.
On top of that, there's other software companies that are complementary that are not necessarily in the same industry.
Yes.
Those would be easy to sell, and they also offer residual payments as well.
I mentioned lead pages. I think that would be a fit too.
Yeah, lead pages, great fit. There's an entire marketplace in the ecosystem of the software companies that you could send to. There's also automation clinics and automationcrew.com and these other places that have fantastic affiliate programs for high-level consulting programs. So if you send somebody to, let's say, automationclinic.com, he'll give you $500. That's pretty cool.
Not bad.
Not bad.
So let's talk about, we were talking about the opportunities, and I think there are a bunch, but let's talk about the risks too. What do you think are the biggest risks for a potential buyer taking over the site?
My intention is that when the buyer takes over the site, I need to sit down with them and make sure that they understand clearly the positioning of the website and why it works so well. And as long as they maintain those same principles, they'll do fine. You almost can't screw it up. But the risk is if you step onto the side of too salesy and too much of an affiliate marketer, people are going to sniff you out. And it's going to lose its effectiveness.
Yeah, if you came across as being all markety, it would have been less interesting to me. It's true.
And part of that, why I said capturing leads is risky, is because people are accustomed to pop-ups and that type of thing on affiliate websites. And that's a red flag sometimes. Again, I haven't even tested that for this. But by virtue of capturing an email address with the type of visitors and type of traffic that this website gets, you could easily monetize that.
What do we do if one of the software or both the software programs end up changing their product significantly? I mean, some updates are going to need to be made, right?
You'd need to make some updates for sure. That's not going to happen because the partner programs with these companies drive a gigantic amount of revenue for them. They would be chopping off their right leg and their arm and their left foot if they did that.
That was actually one of the other questions I was going to ask is, what if they just drop the affiliate programs completely or significantly change them?
They have changed the affiliate program, and one of them has changed once, but it was actually to favor the partners. The other program hasn't changed at all.
You know what's scary with affiliate programs? I don't know how to roll out with this, but when the companies themselves start to compete with their affiliates, right? That's always,
right.
That freaks me out. And I think for smaller companies, there's more risk there that they're going to cannibalize their affiliates or something. These guys, they're funded. They have quite a bit of revenue. I don't know how profitable they are, but they have quite a bit of revenue. There's a business.
One of them has 23,000 customers. The other has about 11.
Yeah, so they're a bit more established.
They're very established, so they're not in the startup phase at all. They're in a growth phase, and in a growth phase, you cannot abandon your partners.
Seth, let's talk a little bit about the work required for these sites. So I know that you handle email support. I know that there's order forms where people can ask questions and that type of thing. How much work are you doing on a daily or weekly basis for this site?
This is where it gets really laughable, Justin, because I do almost nothing. This is almost, I've been online since 2004 professionally, and I have never, ever come across something that takes so little effort to make money, ever.
But people are asking questions. People are sending comments and questions about the software and stuff, and you answer those, right?
Yeah, it's maybe 10 minutes a week.
Wow.
It's absurd.
I'm shocked that you don't get more detailed questions. I mean, I know that when I went through this, I labored over it. I didn't ask people a lot of questions though, but I did do a hell of a lot of research on my own. So maybe that's it. They don't really reach out all that much.
I get a lot of people that, more often than not, I get emails of people gushing about saying thank you so much for this content.
I think if I was a service guy, like for example, if I offer products and services around this, I'd probably make the site a bit more to where they reach out. I think I would try to push that a bit more, actually.
Right. That's true. That's true, because
you don't want that. Like you don't want a gazillion questions to consult. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't want the work. And to be honest, this is kind of giving away a secret here. This may help your people that listen to this. On every page of that website is a contact form, which basically says, ask me any question about these softwares that you have at all, about anything. And the number one reason why I did that is for positioning credibility.
I'm totally with you.
Because nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody does it.
We have e-commerce. We have e-commerce friends, and what they do is they put the phone number at the front and center, top of the website, make it very, very clear. And what they've told me, and studies have shown apparently, is that it's not even that the people that are calling in are ordering so much, or there's so much more. There's a bit of that. But what really happens is that the people that didn't call or weren't calling before, and they still don't call, they're more likely to buy because of the credibility.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Exactly. And that's why I did it. And that's why I'm not necessarily pushing super hard for people to fill that out. But it's there, and they know that I'm there if they need me, which is different than everyone else.
Let's talk a little bit about the skills or requirements that are there for someone that's looking to buy this site. I mean, I don't think you have to be an expert. You don't have to be a pro with either of the pieces of software, but you do have to have a basic understanding, and you have to be willing to, I think, especially starting out, kind of get your hands dirty and check it out. What would your recommendations be for someone that is looking to buy this?
A couple things. One is you should read the content and know it pretty well. And if you do that, I will be able to have a conversation with you and fill in the blanks. Because, again, back to the positioning, you have to position each software in a way that solves a problem for a particular industry. So I did that purpose for a few reasons that may not make any sense unless you read the content. So if you read the content, I'm more than happy to sit down and lay it out and fill in the blanks. And once that happens, it's really, really super easy to answer questions.
Seth, let's talk about that a little bit. How much support are you willing to offer a buyer when they take the site over? What do you think would be required to kind of get them set up for success?
I'm happy to help. I said 30 days of email support, and I'll spend a few hours with them, coaching them on the software and the website, and what should be done, what shouldn't be done, that type of thing.
I'll throw in, I'm willing to do a couple of calls on strategy for growing the site forward in terms of like monetization and things that I'd like to see happen simply because I really dig it. So I like to set the buyer up for success because I think it's really cool and it's a helpful resource for me and for others that are out there.
Cool.
So would you be willing to commit to a non-compete? I know that you're moving in a new direction. So one thing our buyers get concerned about is they don't want you to just, set up a very similar site and now be their competition.
Sure. I have no issue doing that at all. I have no intentions of building a site in that industry.
Okay. Another question that we get sometimes from buyers is they want to know about earnouts or splits. Like, would you be willing to do a 70% up front, 30% on closing kind of deal? Like post-training, that kind of thing. Are you open to that?
If it's the right fit, sure. It's the thing I would not do is X amount up front and then the rest over the next 2-3 years or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just, that type of thing wouldn't work necessarily because I think the demand is high enough for this type of a website.
We don't get a lot of requests for that. I think that happens generally in much larger acquisitions.
Yeah.
They'll do stock and they'll do earnouts and they'll keep you around for a period of time where you're now an employee temporarily till they
part of that is because I want to sell the website, make sure they're set up for success, and then I'm done. I'm gone. I'm doing my thing, focusing on the other things that I care about.
Is this a one-man band? Do you have anyone helping you with this or no?
No, not at all. I'm not paid anyone anything to get anything done on a website. It's run with a simple WordPress setup. It's just like a normal blog. It's really, really simple. I will say that in the transition, I set it up so the transition is going to be really stupid simple. I cleaned out everything from that hosting account. I literally just passed the hosting account to the buyer so that the IP address is not changed. Sometimes Google's unpredictable. When somebody changes their IP address, they freak out. And I don't want that to happen because that would be lame.
If you go to some crappy shared hosting, I've seen that happen.
And it's right now it's being hosted on WP Engine, which is a solid hosting platform for WordPress. It's a very fast site. It loads fast. So they get to keep that web hosting account, and they just transfer the billing information, and we're done.
I think keeping on the same hosting, first off, our migration team will be really happy about that. So that makes it really easy. But yeah, I think that'll be better for the buyer. Let's do a quick wrap up the site. So it's basically a SaaS comparison affiliate site. It's making $10,100 a month net profit over the last 12 months. It's created in February 2013. It's primarily organic traffic. It's extremely hands-off, and you're including some training for 30 days. You're going to do a couple of calls, and you'll handle some emails, kind of get them up to speed. And I'm willing to step in and do a couple of calls as well. What would be your best pitch to someone that's looking to buy this and you wanted to close them out and seal the deal? What would you tell them?
This is the internet dream, this website. This embodies what people have been pitched for years about sitting on a beach somewhere and making money, not doing anything. It's pretty awesome in that way, with an opportunity to layer on top of this a solid business. And, I've had the very top guys in the ecosystem of these software companies beat down my door because they're scared of the website. They're my competition, per se, in the marketplace. The positioning is perfect. It's kind of a situation that's a little bit fairy tale where you can step in and get a website where there's very, very little risk. There's almost no work involved. It's very simple to maintain, and that is a rare thing in the internet world. And I've never seen it quite like that in all my years that I've done this. So it's a fantastic opportunity for somebody that just wants the cash flow and doesn't really care about building a business. It's an even better opportunity for the person that does want the cash flow, but also can layer on, business opportunities. So it works for both situations.
I would say that you got lucky with this one, Seth, except, I think that it's a really good market fit and it's a repeatable model. So the
totally.
Versus thing, the fact that it's very straightforward, you're an affiliate for both and you know both, I just think it's really interesting. And so other people that are looking to recreate other sites in completely different industries could, I think, get some value from this and be able to apply that to their sites. I've got my wheels. We're not even building sites anymore, man. And I'm thinking to myself,
I wish I could do one like this.
I want a couple of side projects now. I want to start exploring.
I'll tell you what, Justin. part of it is luck, because you do websites like this, and you never know really if something's going to work like this. And so I cannot claim that my intention was to have a website that makes $120,000 a year sitting around doing nothing. But the positioning, the marketing was extremely strategic, and I put a lot of thought and effort into it, and it was hard work. And to the buyer, I'll tell you, I'll do something else. I will lay out exactly the plan that I had and the positioning that the website has, so that they could duplicate it if they wanted to in any market and knock it out of the park.
Awesome, Seth.
Happy to do that.
Just want to tell you, man, I really appreciate your time. I'm sure the listeners appreciate your time as well. We're going to have a link to the listing for this website for sale on YouTube or anywhere else you might be listening to this. And again, Seth, thank